Alrighty, today was a bit of a whiplash sort of a day. We are kind of at a changing of the tide sort of moment. You can see that it's done a pretty big jog up for the overnight hours, and then it kind of hit this green line ceiling and possibly will drop down. So we've kind of got both uptrends and downtrends going on depending on which chart you're looking at. So that's why I'm saying it's a bit of a whiplash. It's kind of a tricky situation here. So anyway, I'm basically, again, you just focus on the very short term, and we are near a peak area. So my first trade was a short, and it was put in right about this ceiling level that had developed. MACD is high. It doesn't look good. It's not a good setup here on the main chart. The 30-minute chart down here isn't quite closed yet. You can see the MACD is still open, but it is thinking about turning over. And like I said, we've hit that green line, and then it started to fall a little bit. So I think all in all, I think that was not a bad way to look at that, a bad trade. But I wouldn't be surprised. I guess I'm prepping myself for if it does go up. I wouldn't be totally shocked. So it did make a drop down, and I had put in my order ahead of time. So it did take it right there at that gold line. So my first trade was 162.50. And then being a kind of a whiplash sort of day again, I don't mind doing both longs and shorts. And so now my next trade is a long, put in just about this point right here where it looks like it's going to bounce. It took it and hasn't quite gotten up yet. In fact, it dropped down a little bit more and worried me enough that I decided to put in an order just at a very, very small profit. I figured the likelihood of it getting up to that, the SMAs right there, which are just now meeting, is pretty good. The MACD is pretty low, hasn't quite turned yet. That's looking very good. And you can see the price action actually went above my limit order and didn't take. So it takes a while for those orders to get executed sometimes, and it can be a little bit nerve-wracking. All right, so my second order went through and actually made money on that one as well. Now I'm up to 237.50. Could have stopped here, but you know, why stop when you know what's going on, right? All right, so I'm watching it here and trying to figure out what it's doing. I went ahead and decided it was probably downtrending a little bit more than up right now. So I went in a short, got into a short position here. Again, the MACD doesn't look super good right here, but overall, the longer term charts, I would say it's looking good. So that may see me through. It went up a little bit, and then it looked like maybe it was coming down. This is my expectation. I'm thinking at this point it'll probably get down to that support. I feel like that's a pretty reasonable amount. That's not huge. Well, it's a pretty big trade actually, but it's not outlandish or unreasonable. It did go up, and I held on to it because we are now at a support level, but I am a little bit worried that it's going to get up to that green line. And it's testing that. I put in my cursor so you can see it hit it once and bounced back down. And it actually went through here. And basically I've lost all of my profits, but the MACD is now looking good and the RSI is really high. So still hanging on, thinking, well, just a few more points and it's not going to be the end of the world. And that's a pretty solid ceiling right there. And it did drop down and down, and I got back all of my losses there and at break even right here. But I still think it's probably going to drop down further. May not get quite that far, I don't know. And it bounced again. So I decided at this point, no, I think I better do a reversal. So I just clicked the reverse button up here, which automatically puts in a market order, which reverses it. And it kind of floats for a while until it gets executed. So it's a little bit of a scary kind of an order to put in. I don't usually like to do that, but it was moving pretty fast. And I did think at this point the likelihood of it getting up to the green line was growing. So getting into market order down here and then getting out up there that would have been fine. I'd be happy with that. And the MACD is looking like it's turning. Okay, got filled there. So I lost a little bit on that last order. And now I'm in a long position. And I'm being conservative here. I put in a limit order at this point. And I got filled. Oh, maybe I didn't. There we go. Got filled and actually made a little bit of money on that one. And then I immediately got back into a short position, which was looking at the information that I see here. That was definitely premature. I'm not seeing a reason to get into a short quite yet. I think I still had in my mind that it was dropping and hadn't quite accepted the fact that it was still going up. There it went up to the green line, and I'm at a loss right here. Because remember, I'm in a short position. And it broke through that green line, and I'm still kind of worried here. Lost basically all my profits so far. I've whittled it down to $37. Waiting for it to drop and turn. MACD is looking really good. The RSI is looking really good. The 15-minute chart is not in my favor. That's kind of what we're fighting against here. There's definitely a battle going on between the bulls and the bears. All right, now this green line is acting like a support. And if it is going to be a support, I'm in a really bad position to be in. But I'm still at $100 profit here. I haven't completely, gotten into the red yet. I still have a small profit left. So I'm hanging on, hoping that it drops, watching it very closely. And it's hard to see again with these still slides, but there is, it's like moving, jerky movements, candles forming quickly. You can see lots of dojis, white candles here. There's just a battle going on here. All right, now that it's dropped below that green line, I felt like, okay, the bears are winning. It's looking good. I'm close to where I got in here. It bounced off of that point, bounced up, and I brought up the 4-hour chart down here just to kind of see the longer term scenario. And I was kind of horrified to see that we have developed a golden cross right here. And it has bounced off of that blue SMA. So it's kind of no wonder that it went up there, actually. I had forgotten to look at that this morning. But we are at the gold SMA now, which is right where the green line is, which is a really good resistance level. I do think the potential for it going up a little bit further is definitely there, but it's going to have to fight pretty hard to get past that. So I didn't get out there. I'm still in this short position here. It went back down to that point again, and I decided, I think I better just play it safe and get out there, because if it bounced up, that would really, really not be good. I'd rather lose a little bit than do that. Did not. Oh, let me see. Did it take? I don't think it did. Let's see. This is the end of the 5th. Yep, it did take. Okay. All right. And then it went up, and I got in a short as soon as it started falling again. I placed a short order, and then I immediately canceled it. I thought, well, what are you doing? This is not necessarily a good time to be trading this. But it had taken before I could cancel it. Well, actually, yeah, I canceled it, and it still took it, because it just takes a while for the orders to get filled sometimes to go through. So anyway, I put in my exit order here at a fairly conservative place. Figured that would probably happen. It did take, and very glad that order worked out. That was my 6th trade, and on here it looks like I made $337.50. When you take out the 6 commissions, I actually made $296. So I was happy with today's trading, especially since it only took me 34 minutes. So that was pretty awesome.